right.
Luckily, we brought copies.
We did.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. Pete? For those of you who know Pete Baker, the following words come to mind. Quiet, soft-spoken, honorable, loyal, dedicated, and passionate. The way he and his family and their business have given back to the city, one would think that he was born and raised here. Truth is, he came to our area late in life when his father relocated the family business, Crystal Rock Water, from Stamford to Watertown, Connecticut.
Joe and I would add another word to the mix, and that word is brother. He is like the brother we never had, the one who is there in a time of need, the one who has that little kernel of wisdom to share, the one that always comes through when your back is against the river and there is only one chance to really make a difference.
Pete's dad, Henry, had a saying, if not me, then who? If not me, then who? The short little wordplay has such a deep meaning, and Peter has accepted the challenge of being the leader by example.
The Baker family as a whole, led by Henry and later Peter, was instrumental in establishing the MS Dinner of Champions, previously known as the Community Chest Awards in Connecticut, an annual awards dinner that raises funds to support those who are afflicted with MS, and I, for one, am very grateful for that.
The three of us served together on the Palace Board of Directors, and were involved in the United Way at both the campaign and board levels. When we say that free water, office products, and coffee flowed into the nonprofits that could be sold to support their programs, well, that would be not doing it any justice.
Joe once told me the story of how he and Peter first got together and how Crystal Rock had not been a large supporter of the United Way. Joe met with Peter, and the two discussed how many of Peter's employees were involved in using United Way services. Peter left the meeting and announced to his team that Crystal Rock would start a workplace giving campaign.
It wasn't just any old campaign, though. They immediately joined the ranks of the top 10 givers that year. Peter later joined up with me, and we chaired the 2010 and 11 annual United Way campaign, leveraging our connections to help create a sustainable legacy for the organization.
Whether it's Special Olympics, PAL, Chase School, just to name a few, Pete's dedication and desire to give back and support programs that make a difference really has no boundaries. Turkeys, something very simple, turkeys. We tried to count the number of turkey dinners that Pete has donated to families, and quite honestly, we had to stop. It was just, we couldn't count it anymore.
Who could forget the COVID-19 virus and what it did to change our world? At this point, Peter, Jack, David owned Litchfield Distillery, and they decided to not only produce hand sanitizer, but to give it away. Give it away to anyone. Yes, anyone that came to their place of business. First responders, residents, citizens from far and wide. It got to the point that those who took the product felt bad and decided to leave money to help them with production and getting bottles to put it in. So the three of them took the money and gave it away to a local food bank to help them supporting those who needed it more.
We can definitely go on for hours and hours, but I don't want to hear from Kim anymore. I'm going to ad-lib that part. And some of the stories would really make you laugh, and some of the stories would make you cry. But at the end of the day, both Joe and I and everyone in this room did not come here just to hear stories.
Peter, come up here and take this small token of thanks from all of us for all you have done.
We love you, brother.
Love you, brother.
That got me a little emotional. I didn't know I could pick my own walk-up song. You should have called me for it. Joe, Frank, thank you so much for those kind words. Both of you have done so much for our community, and I cherish our friendship greatly. Going last, you kind of be a little bit redundant, so I'm going to congratulate a few people that have already been congratulated. I'd like to start by congratulating all the other award recipients here tonight. You have all gone above and beyond to help the community around you. I would like to congratulate Kristen and her staff for another great year for the Greater Waterbury United Way. After having spent some time on the board, I know how much you guys work all year long, not just for the dinner tonight. Dave and Pam, I know you're over this way somewhere. Congratulations to you for running a very successful campaign. Having done it in the past, I know how much work it is and how rewarding it can be. And we also know how important that campaign is to the success of the United Way. I'm very honored to be receiving this award tonight. The Kellogg family and all the recipients before me are the people that I looked up to when we first moved to the Waterbury area 30 plus years ago. So to be on the same list with them is very meaningful to me. It was actually Jim Smith, not Joe. I don't know where you got that from, but it was actually Jim Smith that was the first one to get me to commit to support the United Way. He asked me to join the Tocqueville Society. I think he was chairman of the board or chairman of the committee at the time. I'm not quite sure, Kristen. And those of you that know Jim, it's kind of hard to say no to Jim, so I agreed. I didn't realize that that was going to mean that Kristen was going to call me once a week until I finally agreed to do a workplace campaign with Crystal Rock. But actually, that workplace campaign is what really got me more involved with the United Way. As the employees of Crystal Rock really stepped up, it was very rewarding to my brother Jack and I to watch that, especially when we heard from so many of them thanking us for giving them an opportunity and a way to give back to their community. Joe and Frank mentioned a few other organizations that I've been involved with. That only happens when you have great people around you. My brothers David and Jack and I were fortunate to grow up in a family that instilled a strong work ethic and a sense of community. Our parents, Henry and Joan, were strong believers in working hard and playing hard, but always about giving back. As we transitioned into the distillery business, the philosophy was the reason for our tagline, the spirit of hard work, and we live by that every day at the distillery. It has truly come full circle as my brothers and I work side by side, like when we were kids starting in the water business. I'm very happy to see that same spirit of hard work carry on with my two daughters, Nicole and Jessica. I'm so proud of what you two have accomplished in your young lives. I want to thank my wife, Josette, for always being by my side and being my best advocate in the Baker tradition. I'm going to be very brief. So lastly, I want to thank all of you for what you do in the community. Nothing would be possible without all of you. It's been said before, but it's so true. So again, thank you, and enjoy the rest of your night.